Recording from this position feels honestly quite amazing, not gonna lie. So I've promised people that once we have a little bit more data on Ral Monsoon Mage, we're going to make a deck tech video for him, looking at his tournament performance. So here we have a leaderboard with Kinnan on the top, Magda, Rogsai, TNT, Blue Farm, Rogfrasius, Ral at rank 7, Tivit, cEDH, and those are only from the true skill system that have a confident verification, where Ral sits at rank 7 with a score of 21.51 and a win rate of 26.8 from 41 games, which is kind of few. But I want to emphasize that this is only from top 16 and top 4, which means that there's no draw. Everyone has either won or lost, so every game will be containing one winner and 3 losers. But here's the thing, I have a much better, in my opinion, ranking system. So what you just saw was built by Microsoft called TrueSkill. This is built by me, and I'm gonna call it MPC, which stands for Mons Pair Challenge. I've actually already talked about this. Link in the description below of this video to a tutorial on how this ranking system actually works. We're not gonna go into detail on how the pairs and challenge works, that's for that video. Instead, we have our own leaderboard with the top ranking commander, Frasius and Rograk, with a power ranking of 32,143. Now you don't need to remember that, as we have rank position 1. Then we scroll down and we can see Kinnan. I want you to look at the the percent difference from the top, which is sitting at 96.18. That is how much the power rank here differs from this position. And then we can scroll down, we find Man's Best Friend. This is actually Ian's decklist, with Frasius and Yoshimaru on Cradle. And as you can see here, it appears like Rograk and Frasius is doing a little bit better compared to Man's Best Friend. All of these decklists are, by the way, tournament decklists. We're not actually looking at how strong a commander is, more like how strong a certain decklist is, and we can change the decklist and we might end up having a different ranking result here. But then in rank 4 we have Tymna Dargo, PONTUS, favorite decklist, Blue Farm at rank 5, TNT rank 6, Rogsai rank 7, and then Etali rank 8, Kefka rank 9, and now, by the way, look at that different percentage. We can actually scroll down. Here we have Ral Moonsage rank 10. So he has a 90.14% compared to the top. So he's not that far away from the best performing deck. Then we have Magda, Marnius, Tivit, cEDH, my favorite deck list. And then we have a casual deck as a reference. And by the way, the casual deck is at 42.52% in power rank compared to the best performing decklist, while cEDH is sitting at 80.99. However, in this video, we're going to be focusing on Ral. So, like I said, it's more of a ranking of the decklist more than the commander, because we can look at inside the decklist for each individual card how much they have contributed to the overall performance. And as you can see here, Inspired Tinkering. Now, by the way, you can see up there, among the pairs, 450 is missing, which means that the power ranking might be of a little bit uncertainty, and we will know better over time. Once again, Ral don't have that many games, so there's going to be missing pairs. How it works is that you can see their average pair power, 5.85232, is going to be multiplied by the amount of missing pairs, 450, which will basically make it into a full capacity of 4,950 pairs to basically make a good evaluation compared to the other decklist, so to say. Regardless, we can look at some of the key cards that are combined with Inspired Tinkering, and as you can see, it is very typical cards, except when we get into Invoke Calamity, that is contributing with a power rank of 8.1740. Because Ral is heavily built towards a storm concept. His first ability, instants and sorcerer spells you cast cost 1 less to cast, basically helps you cast rituals by decreasing the casting cost of rituals, making them cheaper. But that is also going to basically create rituals. So you have something like Frantic Search, 1 blue, 2 generic, but with Ral in play, it becomes 1 blue and 1 generic, so 2 mana, but draw 2 cards, then choose and discard 2 cards, untap up to 3 lands. Suddenly, Frantic Search became a ritual, and something that is drawing you into new cards, and you can discard lands that you don't need for the current Storm run. But the big power with Ral is that you have a Planeswalker side, so your goal is to cast a bunch of spells, build triggers on Ral, and once you have enough triggers so that when you flip him, you can ulti him immediately and basically just storm more. Here comes the crazy part. If you're able to storm a lot post flipping your Planeswalker, if the Planeswalker dies, it goes back to the command zone. You can recast Ral, and once you basically cast one thing, if you win the flip, coin flip here, he can flip back to the Planeswalker and do it all again. I've actually seen that happen, it's horrible. But we're playing all kinds of cool cards like Reckless Impulse, that is actually kinda casual on first glance, but once you reduce the casting cost by 1, it becomes kinda decent and perfect in a Storm concept, together with big rituals like Seating Song and of course Simian Spirit Guide. And with Ral in play, Seating Song is 1 red and 1 generic to cast, which basically increases the ritual capacity from it. We also have ways to synergize with Ral, like Tavern Scoundrel. Whenever you win a coin flip, create 2 treasure tokens, which means that even if you have your commander Ral in play, and he hasn't flipped yet, and you don't want him to flip yet, he's creating treasure tokens, which is going to help you basically ritual even stronger. Once again, let's say you ulti Ral, and Ral goes to the command zone. You can recast Ral and keep generating coin flips with Tavern Scoundrel. We have things like Witch Mark, Vren's Resolve, exile the top 2 cards of your library until your next turn. You may play those cards. Obviously auto-including Stormkiln Artist, as well as Birgi, God of Storytelling. I have actually seen people cast the Harnfellen Horn with her too, but she's an absolute auto-include Storm God. Then we have a very important card you need to basically auto-include in my opinion too. Some people might not know about it, but Glimpse the Impossible, so 1 red and 2 generic, sorcery. Exile the top 3 cards of your library. You may play those cards this turn. At the beginning of your next end step, if any of those cards remain exiled, put them into your graveyard, then create a colorless 0/1 Eldrazi spawn creature token that you can sacrifice for 1 colorless mana. So this can, in the future, be a ritual or a mana bank, or just a smaller half version of Jeska's Will. Your finisher could be Grape Shot, sorcery, deal 1 damage to target creature or player, and then Storm. And with a card called Underworld Breach, you can recast the Grape Shot a lot from your graveyard to build a huge Storm count and an enormous amount of damage. I mean, with Underworld Breach and Brain Freeze, as we are on the cold identity of red and blue, you can fuel your graveyard with lots of cards, including that Grape Shot. Now you could theoretically kill all of your opponents by just milling them out and passing the turn or casting a wheel, but hey, Grape Shot works too if you wanna do it more clean. Also, Grape Shot is kinda okay on its own without Underworld Breach. If you're able to storm a lot, you can build up a huge storm count and then use Grape Shot as a semi board wipe. On the other hand, a lot of creatures in cEDH don't have that much toughness, so Grape Shot will probably do the work. But another card we need to talk about is Mind's Desire. So this is the blue version of Adnos. So 4 mana, then 2 generic for blue, 4 generic and 2 blue mana. Shuffle your library, then exile the top card of your library. Until end of turn, you may play that card without paying its mana cost. Storm. I don't have any good data or a good mark on when this actually has a great hit, on what kind of storm count you need to fire this off, but I highly recommend firing it off in general. It usually wins the game I've played this card in a lot of other decks here and there, and I've seen other people play it in other commander decks, and it's a great storm card in general. And you can flip into some very powerful cards like Inspire the Tinkering, which exile the top 3 cards of your library. You may play those cards this turn and you create 3 treasure tokens. This is both a ritual, or well, it's not actually a ritual because the casting cost here is higher than the 3 treasures you generate. But if you have Ral in play, you're reducing the casting cost, or if you're flipping into this by Mind's Desire, it is also a huge ritual and a card draw at the same time. We've already talked about Invoke Calamity. This is also great. Perfect with Ral as you're reducing the casting cost from 5 to 4. And you may cast up to 2 instants and or sorcery spells with a total mana value 6 or less from your graveyard and or hand without paying their mana cost. So yeah, that's gonna help you storm more. It's basically a ritual, you could say, because you pay 4 mana in this case to cast spells worth of 6 mana. And it's also kinda helping you with color fixing, so the the 4 red is not that hard to achieve considering how many red rituals that you have, but generating blue mana can be tricky, so Invoke Calamity can help you cast blue spells. Then you have Bonus Round, which will double all of your spells. Great card, and I think it's pretty much an auto include inside Ral. It's great if you flip into this, by the way, with Ral, or if you cast it and then you ulti Ral Planeswalker version. We are also playing a lot of lands that aren't lands. So Valakut Awakening is a great card for storm builds, especially if you can reduce the casting cost of this, and it fuels your Underworld Breach and you dig through your library, but it can be a land drop if you need to. Ultimately, the Ral decks I've seen don't play that many lands because they want to make their Mind's Desire and the Ral Planeswalker ulti better. So it is very favorable to reduce the land count. By the way, Ral comes into play at only 2 mana, so you don't need like that many lands. You can land turn 1, land turn 2, which would be a worst case scenario, you could say, to have your commander to play turn 2, and then on turn 3 you go for it. So you have a pretty consistent turn 3 victory attempt with this commander, and which is also, by the way, why he is receiving such a good performance. And it is just a very consistent deck, and cards like Valakut Awakening and Sink into Stupor just helps out a lot, as they are land alternatives, as well as Pinnacle Monk, a very expensive Eternal Witness, but it is a mountain in worst case scenario, and sometimes it's great to return a card from your graveyard. And by the way, if you flip into this with Mind's Desire, yeah, great. And once again, what you basically have here is a super consistent deck that gets going with its core game plan quite early in the game. And it's not that hard to rebuild either. Like, the commander tax is gonna increase by 2 if your opponents kill it, but you're also not actually that commander dependent. Like, in general, he's going to reduce the casting cost of all your instant sorceries. That's great, but you can kinda play without that. Now sure, the ulti on the Planeswalker is super strong, but if you've gone into late game stage, you resolve an Underworld Breach, and your graveyard is kinda filled with a Lion's Eye Diamond or Lotus Petal, then you're gonna win anyway without the commander. Now, in the description below of this video, as always, links to Ral cEDH builds from EDH Top 16 for tournament builds that have gone to tournaments. I don't know why they don't showcase his commander picture, but all of these deck lists are Ral that have, for example here, 5 wins, 1 loss and 1 draw. And yeah, you can scroll around inside Moxfield exactly, card by card, how it's been put together. But spoilers, if you also want to see how it's executed, link in the description below of this video to this gameplay where Pontus wins 2 times in a row on turn 2. We had fun watching it when we played, kinda, for about 5 minutes. Then we started doing other things while he executed his finish on his own. Great fun. I can see why people hate Ral. Regardless, I think it's a great commander, and I do think it's going to climb in rank in both of my leaderboards. Both the one that is built by Microsoft, this one is built by Microsoft, and the ranking system that I have here. I truly think that Ral is going to be a... I don't know how dominant. I don't think he's gonna like climb to the top, but he's definitely gonna be among the top and perform good in general. I don't think he's going to decrease, but over time we will see, as I'm gonna be making more deck tech videos like this on the commanders on this list. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave those in the comments below of this video, and I will do my very best to answer them. Also, if you have any requests of certain commanders you want me to look into, how they're kinda doing in a similar video to this, also feel free to leave your suggestions below in the comments as well. Take care guys, and we'll see you in the next one.